Who are the Blemmies? The Blemmies are a race of humanoid creatures who have no head and their eyes and mouth are located on their chests. The earliest recordings about the Blemmies are by Herodotus, the Greek historian. In antiquity and in the Middle Ages, they were thought to inhabit Africa, and more specifically the territories south of Egypt. They were sometimes described as creatures of extraordinary stature. The origin of the legend of the Blemmies is probably related to a real tribe with this name, which lived in Nubia and fought against the Roman armies. They often depicted large human faces on their armor and shields, and from a distance it could indeed seem as if they were their own faces at chest or belly level.
In the far western sea, where the sun crowns the water, lies our island. We call her California. I am Califia, queen of the Amazons of the sun. Here, no invader has ever survived, for we fight as one, woman and griffin.
From the cliffs of my California, we ride the winds. Across deserts, beyond time, to the old kingdom hidden in the canyon. There, our story begins.
Oh, you're so beautiful. Where'd you come from? Oh my gosh, you're incredible. Please don't bite me. Ah, you're amazing.
So just like they did with the giants, yeah, look what they found behind this old painting in a church that's hidden away. They've tried to hide the fact that dragons were for real. So I'm not saying dinosaurs weren't real, but they weren't called dinosaurs, they were dragons. Look at this painting, this mural, in a church. They tried to hide all of this shit, but they did a sloppy job, because it's all over the place. It's all over England, it's all over Europe. All of them animals on the Chinese calendar, they're for real. Yeah, blimmies, griffins, dragons, giants. Just a few generations ago, all of this shit was on Earth. It's kind of like, you know when they show you the Lord of the Rings and Middle Earth and the Witcher and all of that stuff, all of these creatures drawn on certain stuff is what people seen. They drew what they seen. You know, even them people with their face and their chest and stuff, griffins, they try and go on like it's just some myth thing. Even these rock dinosaurs here, that was a rock dinosaur. They're massive things that get petrified and stuff. I know I sound like I'm reaching with this, but if you've done your research already, you will know that dragons being depicted in every culture all around the realm looking similar, just like the griffins. That ain't no human creativity or no coincidence. That's a fact. Yeah, some of these dragons melted some of these buildings by breathing fire on them. Look at these articles in the dictionary. Yeah, the dictionary just said they're very rare now. You understand? Why would it have that in the dictionary just a couple generations ago? Then you got institutions like the Smithsonian and shit. Yeah, the Vatican archives that buried all of this, took out the history of Tartaria, buried it all. And we just think these things are mythical creatures. They're not mythical. They're just like now with this AI god that they've socially engineered near us with subliminal seduction. Get people to worship this AI, this smart technology and stuff. This society is not smart. It's dumb. And that's why most of them, they won't opt for the red pill. They'll rather have the blue. Mafia for life.
Most people think about griffins as mythological creatures, half eagle, half lion. But what if their legend isn't just fantasy? That ancient civilizations believed they were real, and that they were guarding something more valuable than gold. Griffins appear in nearly every ancient culture: Egypt, Mesopotamia, Persia, and even medieval Europe. But their origins go back even further, to the Thyacians, nomadic warriors who roamed the vast lands of Central Asia. The Greek historians like Herodotus wrote that Thyacians spoke of a great winged beast guarding hidden treasures deep in the mountains of the east. But here's the twist: the treasure wasn't gold or jewels, it was something far more dangerous. Ancient texts hint that griffins guarded sacred knowledge, lost alchemical formulas, occult symbols, and even the secret to immortality. Some esoteric traditions believe that the griffins represents the opposites: the king of the land, the lion, and the king of the sky, the eagle, fused into a single form, a creature that exists between worlds. And what's even stranger, in Altai Mountains, archaeologists discovered ancient gold artifacts depicting griffins, exactly where the Scythians said they lived. The same Altai region has been long tied to the legend of Shambhala, the hidden city of enlightened. Could it be that griffins weren't just guarding the treasure, but a gateway to a lost world? What if griffins weren't just symbols? What if they were real? The creatures placed at the threshold of hidden power, protecting secrets we were never meant to find. After all, history is full of warnings. But who were they really meant for?
A lot of these cryptids, these mythical creatures, these random sightings that we see in modern times are these creatures that once lived side by side with the rest of humanity. They were just pushed out. They were just conquered, just like we do every other native tribe that has lands that we want. But before that, they were in some way, shape, or form a part of human society. A society that I don't think was solely built just by us humans. I believe there was a lot of creatures that shared this realm with us. That's why a lot of the flags, even today, talk about Scotland, Wales and stuff, their flags have the dragons on them. Griffins featured on many flags. Dragons featured on the Russian flag. It's all there, not because it was some myth or fairy tale. It's all there because it was what they seen.
Gotta check out this 1568 drawing showing griffins, but the difference is I've never seen griffins in this fashion on any kind of map or drawings. I dive into old maps and mysteries, and this one's really, really interesting. You got the warrior here tying up his, instead of a horse, a griffin. You got the griffin with the beak on the head here, and has the obviously legs coming down in the front with the talons, and then on the back end it looks more like a horse with a tail, and then you even have wings and a saddle set up. And there's more than one. There's another one here. Here's another soldier or warrior carrying his griffin. I just thought it was interesting. I've never seen griffins depicted this way. Super cool. And then you have another soldier here getting water, and then there's some reindeer over here. But then there's so much going on in this drawings. You have a guy hanging out going into battle with a turtle, riding a turtle. And then what are those with the really big long necks back there? Thought those were really, really interesting. And then going along over here, you got a huge building already decked out. People on the top up there look like a balcony area, and then people down at the bottom as well. Again, 1560s. Just thought that was really interesting. And then check out that creepy looking. Yeah, it's creepy looking. And then you have on either side a lady blowing a trumpet on either side here. And then down below, you got another creepy one right here. And then again, you have an angel on this side, and then you have an angel on this side. Just found that interesting. And then a lot of depictions along the edge. You can check out the whole drawing here. Just found it really, really, really interesting. Anyways, if you'd like to check this out in more detail, just hit me up in the comments and I'll shoot you over a link. And as always, thanks so much for watching and listening and supporting and being a part of this. And always stay curious. And until next time. This is a 1539 map and has some of the craziest sea creature drawings I've seen. Check it out. You got this one here, and they have names as well, which is pretty wild. And you have the stories you hear about somebody landing on a beach or a rock and end up being a sea creature. And there you got that one there. And then I don't know what they're doing there, but check. All right, so you see this one battling there, but look how big. Look at you got the person right there with that. It's just crazy. It's pretty wild, all the different
characters coming up through there. Look at that one there. Got this here too. And then when you go to, okay, you got them. If you noticed, got this guy like singing right there. See that? Look, I'm singing, and bringing them abreast with his music. I thought that was interesting because I saw that also right here. Look at that. You got the music. Just the little things you find that are different. It's very interesting. And then on this Islanda, which I would guess that would be Iceland, look at you have all the different depictions going through there. And as you keep going, you've got these areas that show a lot of fire. You've got chaos there. Thought that was interesting to show that name. You see it right there. You got it down here as well. And you have other areas of fire. And then, look at this up here. There are like stories of smaller people battling. So I thought that was interesting. It's just a neat map. And what are these here? Look at that one. What's that mean? Like the Fish King with like a fish tail and the crown on top? Thought that was pretty wild too. Comment, let me know your thoughts with this map here. Look at all the different tunnels going into the mountains. This is all the Iceland area, or Islanda, what they called it then. And then what is this thing? Look at that. It's like a whirlpool, swirl, vortex, craziness. And again, huge, monstrous sea creatures overtaking the different boats back then. Look at their drawing depictions of them. And it just keeps going. Check it out here. You even got more. Looks like you have a looks like a griffin there, right? It's pretty wild. And then you got, I don't know what they're doing there. It's pretty wild. All the different descriptions, depictions. You got them. I don't know what they're doing. Praying to something there. I don't know what that is. And then you got this dude here. Looks like a Paul Bunyan type large individual. Look at the big sword and the big club behind him in the line. Thought that was interesting there. And this map just keeps going. I'm going to zoom out so you can see the whole thing now. I've only shown you some of it with all the sea creatures there. But on the land, it's pretty wild too, as you can tell. It shows a lot of different battles, I guess, that they had. And I think this shows the lineage here. Again, really just, it's an interesting, neat map. Here's Russia right here. Muscovy. And then here, Livonia. And then you have all the different kings here, and again, the different coats of arms. Check that out right there. That's pretty wild. Anyways, as always, I just wanted to share because it's a neat, interesting map. It just has a lot of different types of drawings on it. Different things that just, I don't know, I have no idea what some of this stuff is. 1539, they said it was made. Look what's going on here with the big dogs and the big deer as well. Lots going on. All right, well, as always, stay curious, everyone.
Look at Antarctica and check this map out. You gotta hear this. This is kind of weird. So they actually talk about the Antarctic area in this map 1593, by the way, that it's a part of America. I know, doesn't make sense to me either. Look at this. So I did this translation up here, and it talks about just finding America, and this is the island that's a part of the fourth found world area. It's crazy. Translate it yourself, and you tell me what you think. Found that wild. Plus, they explored a lot of this area because they knew already down here that half the time was daylight and half the time was nighttime, depending on what season you're in. So they talked in detail about that. They also talked in detail up here about the different climates and temperatures and how crazy it was in this area for temperatures. Found that really interesting. And then the last one is they really didn't know what this was here, because down here they talk about not even knowing for sure if this was their area was here or how it was here. So they haven't even explored this part of Antarctica yet. I just find it really, really interesting. And maybe this map's a little older. Also, check this kind of craziness out. So look at this dude right here, right? Found that one really interesting on both sides of this as well. So comment, let me know what you think of that one as well. That was kind of wild looking to me. Very interesting. This also is a part of a bigger map. Check it out, I'll show you. You even have our North Pole too, but we'll get into that on the next one. So anyways, yeah, pretty crazy what they talked about here. Antarctica and America and everything combined. Thought it was interesting because the Americas are all the way over here. You have everything very close still. Comment, let me know what you think about all this. Also, as always, thanks so much for following. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being a part of this journey with me. Always stay curious, and until next time. Here is a 1500 map that has some very interesting drawings on it. As I was going through the different maps, this one caught my attention, mainly because of the dog-headed person that I found in here. And this is what I do. I go through old maps and find different anomalies, different lands, and this one caught my attention, especially because they make this to be a very detailed, authentic map as they're claiming it on the notes. I'll read the notes to you in a minute, but this is the, as you can see right there, the La Cosa map 1500. And the subject that we're talking about here, look at the detail, by the way. Yeah, amazing. This is Africa right here. This right here is the Straits of Gibraltar. That's Spain and Portugal above. And then below here is Africa that you can see very detailed out. Lots of castles and towers and kings. But when you head down here, I was going through, I see this. What the, you know what is this? And it's kind of wild. It's very large. You can see the head, and it looks like Carnet. I don't know which I'm seeing. I'm assuming it's canine or whatever. That looks like a dog-headed person to me. Either that or a dragon-headed person. I don't know. You comment and let me know what you think there. And then I found all the small little people around everywhere to be very interesting, looking like they're all doing types of work. Or some of them have some spears, but most of them look like they're doing work around the castles. Look at a couple of these castles and towers that are big. And then over to the right, next to the dog-headed or whatever being person, you have another big king here. Some smaller castles there. This huge monstrous looking thing here. I mean, that thing is, look how big that castle looks underneath where it says Libya. A couple other, these two kings up here. We'll go into the Mediterranean and see what they got going on here real quick, as far as we can see at least for this map. Yeah. They're upside down, but big ass castles there too. Here's the boot for Italy. Some big castle areas all the way around through Europe here.
And then I noticed, I don't know who this dude is up top up here. Check his face out there. I'd love to have this book, but this is the only page out of this entire book that was found here. But it shows the other side of what they've discovered. So you can see a little bit of the Americas up there. And then this looks like it's going to be the Caribbean area here. And then going in down to South America, which you can see a lot of the land along South America has been discovered as well. Thought that was quite interesting. But the biggest part of this whole map was the details in Africa that they were showing going along here. And you can even see with the details going along all of the land along the water, there are cities everywhere. And obviously the most interesting is this being person here. But I'll read off to you real quick what it said as far as the description of this map. So, as we read here real quick, publishing title is The Atlas of the Historical Geography of the United States by Charles O. Paulin, which is Paulin. Just so you have that information. It looks like this book was done in 1932 with a whole bunch of old maps in it. Maps look like they are from 14, where was it at? I saw the dates before, and I think they're on this map showing them too. Hold on, let's take a look real quick. We saw, yep, so all the maps in this book are from 1492 to 1867. Pretty cool. So I don't have this map in my other map book, or at least I couldn't find it in my other map book. All right, we'll read the rest of this real quick. This is one of the best historical atlases published in the earliest 20th century. It combines history and geography, facsimile historical maps and new historical maps, and it incorporates time and statistics in imaginative map visualizations. The text and maps are based upon information supplied by prominent authorities in the various subjects. The quality of the contents are also reflected by the authoritative map publishers. Just thought that was really interesting. The descriptions that they had put about this map on here and what they had said about it. Anyways, thought this was a really cool map. Wanted to share it with you. Wanted to share some of the details, and obviously finding that right there. Throw your comments in there. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there's anything else that you saw on here that you thought was cool. Until next time, thanks for listening.
This is a map from 1539, filled with sea monsters, giant fish, and creatures of the deep. Were they this myth or something else?
This 1545 map changes everything. You gotta see this one. Hit the follow button because we're about to dive in. So, yeah, this shit's crazy. This map shows America. Check it out. We'll just show it right over here. Asia Orientals. And when I just tell you it shows it in detail with a lot of places. There's Hispania, Asia. And then you go over here, you have Hispania again, and then what's that? Asia Magna. And then India Orientalis. So I had a map before that showed America as India, but alright, now you tell me, and you just go ahead and comment and try to tell me how in the F did they put all these different places in all these different areas. Look at all the cities they have detailed out. Just go ahead and look, pause if you want to. And then you tell me in the comments how in the heck did they have all of these different areas. Look, you even got Florida right there. Terra, Florida. Let's go ahead and zoom out just a little bit. And we'll take this down and you'll see we got Central America, and then we go down to South America here, and detailed out really well there. Zoom in a little bit so we can really try to see. Oh damn, look at that, cannibals. There's cannibals down there, at least that's what they're saying. And then the Papagali, and then down here terra firma. Some animals, and then Gigantum, because it's the land of the giants, as we've seen many times now. And then you have the Australian realm here, they're calling that right now. Interesting. But the real point of me even showing this entire thing is this craziness right here. I've never seen anything like it. Look at that, we're going to show it again. Asia Oriens. Let's look at the different places too. Let's see what we got going through here. Koch, a lot of this place I can't pronounce. Blah, Esnia, Chinchintalas, Thomia. Interesting. I find this super interesting. Probably stay up way too late looking at this shit. Anyways, thanks for watching. I thought this was kind of crazy. I mean, have you ever heard of anybody calling it Asia Magna? And it's definitely our US here. I mean, 100%. Look, you got Terre France when they came in and took that area there in the north up in Canada. Yeah. Do me a favor, throw something in the comments, give me your thoughts. Like, follow, and share, and stay tuned for more. Did you know at one point in time America was called India? That's right, on some old maps you'll even say it India because that's what they thought it was in the beginning. Follow now because we're about to dive into a 1569 map. And it has some real interesting pictures and descriptions. So we're first going to start off with, as you can see, India right there. I'll circle it real quick. But then we're going to move right on over to California. You can see California is showing attached, not as an island on this one. And then you can see all the ships, some big sea creature there. Then as we go down further, we look like we have Poseidon riding on some kind of horse sea creature thing. And then we have a whole bunch of other pictures here, really interesting ones, like one you can see down there. I'll get to the center of it. Look at that. That one shows giants with a little smaller human. Thought that was interesting. And then one other thing I found on this, and this is only half the map, the other half's on the other side of this book, and we'll go over that one too, but what do you know? We have the Arctic. Arctic has land. And by the way, this was a detailed map created and updated for navigators or sailors. And it's showing the Arctic really detailed here. Interesting. Oh shit, sorry. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching, and follow for more stuff like this.
This 1520s map is so crazy. First off, we have Cuba showing as North America or United States, because here's Isabella, which is actually Cuba, and that's how it shows on maps. But that's only a little bit. There's no ice in the Arctic, and there's no ice in the Antarctic areas. It's kind of crazy. And during these times in these lands, it shows a lot of cannibalism. And wait till you see some of the translation. People living past 150 years and just all kinds of craziness that I've translated on this map. TikTok, this is just for entertainment purposes only. We are sharing what we've translated on a real map that's available publicly. And we're just, sharing opinions and thoughts and ideas. Strictly for entertainment purposes only. And also, team, thank you so much for the support. And we are going to dive into this. I find old maps and I find craziness, and there's some cool stuff I found on this map here. Also, I'd like to let you know, if you want a copy of it, please hit me up in the comments. I've been out of town working, so I haven't been available the last few days, but I'm back at it and love to send you anything that I can. I'll be going through all my messages too. But I am going to show you the translations in each of these, and it's kind of wild. It really is. So we'll just start with this one down here because I thought this was the most wild one. This is the Area 3 MB3, which, just so you can see that area, that's right here in South America, Brazil area. Oh, by the way, Brazil 1, Brazil 2. But this area right here they translated it. And they say it's an area of great beauty and the people are wonderful. They sometimes go naked, they sometimes don't. They're with flowers and other things. But these people do live for many years. They sometimes fight amongst each other, and there is some cannibalism involved here. But they live past 150 years. And when they get sick, they heal very quickly because they use root medicine. Huh, imagine that. Comment, let me know what you think of that one. I thought that was super cool. Now, you can go into each one of these areas and translate the islands. I went to this one. So Java Major, which you see on so many different areas, they had cannibals there back then. They had cannibals in a lot of places. It was just really strange. And then, they talk about some of the regimes and some of the areas here in India that are just really interesting, don't make sense. Like, Cambia has its own language, own king, own area. And then you have Cambia showing twice because you have it up here. But then we go into and see Chirara, which talks about the Great Cham, which is also known to be the Great Khan, which we all have heard the Great Khan. And then in addition to that, that is Cham, C-A-M, which is Noah's son. Let me know what you think of that link. Thought that was really, really interesting. But like even up in here, when we translated this one here, found it so interesting on some of the stuff that they talk about here and the cannibalism that occurs, as you can see in the translation. And then you can go up here, they talk about how far away the pole is, the North Pole, and it's a desert. We're not talking Arctic, we're talking, the Arctic Pole, but we're not talking like, they didn't talk about any of the ice, they talked about desert. Really weird. And then you go down, there is not showing anything for the Antarctic, but the closest area, which people say, well, when they were here, it was really the Antarctic area, but look at all the drawings. Everything's green. Again, comment, let me know what you think of that. If you want a link to this, Matt, just shoot me a request in the comments. I'll get it to you. I've been out for quite a bit with work, traveling, and just I'm back now, so I can get to you and get everything taken care of. My apologies. Anyways, just such a cool, interesting map. This is where NB1 is at, which is showing that translation, which we went over now. And then right here, which you have Zapangra, which is Japan right here. And that shows NB2, which they'll talk about Japan right here and all the stuff with Japan. Just really interesting. And then last but not least, right down here where it talks about our Christopher Columbus and the two others, Americus and the Peter, which we don't hear much about Peter. So these translations were really interesting. It's interesting to see Antarctica here and all the different areas, Brazil twice, Cuba as America. Please comment, let me know your thoughts. And again, if you want a link to this, hit me up. And as always, thank you so much for the support. Thanks for being there. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Stay curious. And as always, until next time.
This experiment started off by taking DNA from one of my frilled lizards and splicing it together with DNA from one of our pet axolotls. We took their samples back to our laboratory where we spliced them together and fertilized eggs, which ended up being a lot larger than expected. But after a few months, they were born. You are looking at the world's first miniature dragon. They are extremely cute and friendly, and they love to be held. And although they aren't as big as we expected, we'll continue to work on it. We gave some of these away, but let the rest back into the wild where they belonged. Thanks for watching.
What do you think? This is an old map of the world showing where all mythical creatures live on Earth. If you look closely, most of these creatures look like mermaids have. Humans have something else. But they all look different, like what I've been saying this whole time. every mermaid do not look the same because they are in different parts of the world and different bodies of water. There's a lot of stuff that's not being told to us and hiding from us, but we're definitely not alone on this earth. This map is called Monty from 1587, and this is not the first map that was created. In the 1500s, explaining different creatures. How was this map created? Did they have help from aliens, or was these creatures just out being comfortable instead of hiding today? The statue was found inside an ice cave. How was discovered by the scientists while exploring Antarctica. Passing near Antarctica, but they passed it along saying it was just a fish.
This right here is proof that giants lived in America. Part 1. Manchester Evening News, May 23rd, 1885. Saturday, page 2. And we're going to this section right here. Discovery of giant skeleton. A splendid haul of giant skeletons is reported from Homer in the United States. The district is a prolific field of Indian mounds, and important discoveries are continually being made there. On the 4th inst, beneath a small mound, at 5 feet below the normal surface, 5 gigantic skeletons with their feet to the east were found in a grave with a stone floor. Remnants of burned bones and charcoal were plentiful in the grave, together with numerous stone vessels and weapons. The skeletons were those of vegetables, giants, and no mistake, the head of one being the size of a wooden bucket. That is big. Each of the giants must have been at least 9 feet in height. Among other striking articles in the grave was a beautiful finished stone pipe, the bowl being large and polished and engraved with figures of birds and beasts. There was besides the pipe a huge knife, shaped like a sickle reverse and having a wooden handle held by leather thongs. Also a kettle holding about 6 quarts. It is said by those who are most competent to give an opinion in the matter that this is by far the most valuable find of giants ever made in America, and probably one of the oldest. It is well known fact that the bones of elephants, rhinoceros, mastodons, and other huge animals have before now been exhibited and accepted as proof of prehistoric giants. The presence, however, engraved at Homer of the pipe and the kettle is conclusive proof that the skeletons are those not only a genuine, but also of genuine giants. So could it be true that giants lived among the American Indians in America? Could our United States government be withholding information from us about a prehistoric race of giants living in America? Or could it all be a hoax? You be the judge.